The emergency lights in the Galactic Council chamber had been flashing red for 3 days straight. Velther stood at the center podium, his insectoid limbs trembling in a way that none of the other council members had ever seen before. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 47 different species waited in uncomfortable silence. "They are gone," Velther finally said. His voice echoed through the vast hall. "All of them. Every single human." Kryn slammed his scaled fist on his desk. The reptilian commander had built his entire military strategy around human tactical advisors. "That is impossible. We have tracking systems. We have surveillance. Billions of humans cannot simply vanish." But they had Tay-Men sat in the corner of the chamber, apart from the others. He was the only one in the room with human blood, though his father had been from Velther's species. His mixed heritage had always made him feel like he belonged nowhere. Now he felt even more alone. "Show them," Velther said, gesturing to the main display screen. The lights dimmed. Images appeared on the massive screen. Empty streets on Earth, abandoned space stations, silent colony worlds. In every location, the cities were intact. The lights were still on. Food was still on tables. But there were no people. No humans anywhere. "New Seattle colony, population 4 million, the automated voice announced. "Current inhabitants, 0. The images continued. Mars, Europa, the orbital platforms around Saturn, the deep space research stations, the farming colonies. All empty. No weapons fire detected. No struggle. No bodies. No escape pods launched," the voice continued. "Conclusion: voluntary departure by unknown means." A council member from the aquatic species raised a tentacle. "Perhaps a plague? A virus that disintegrated the bodies?" Tay-Men stood up. All eyes turned to him. He had never spoken in council before. He was just an assistant. Just the person who brought documents and scheduled meetings. "It was not a plague," he said quietly. "It was a choice." He walked to the center of the chamber and pulled out a small data chip. "My mother sent me this 3 days ago. It is the only message any humans sent before they left." The message appeared on screen. It was text only. Simple words in plain language. "Tay-Men, we are leaving. We tried for a long time. We helped. We built. We fixed things. We kept the peace. But we were never seen. We were never thanked. We were just tools to be used. We are done. Good luck. Love, Mom." The chamber erupted in noise. Species arguing with each other. Voices raised in panic and confusion. Velther demanded silence. "This is clearly an emotional response. Humans will return when they calm down. We simply need to wait." Tay-Men shook his head. "You do not understand. Humans do not make choices like this on emotion. They plan. They think ahead." He pulled up another file. "I found this in the abandoned archives. Humans have been filing formal complaints for 200 years. Document after document appeared on the screen. Polite requests for recognition. Formal reports of being ignored. Suggestions that were dismissed. Warnings that were laughed at. Request for equal representation on the council. Denied. Reason given: too primitive. Proposal for shared credit on the neural cure research. Rejected. Reason given: junior species should be grateful for the opportunity to help. Warning about overtaxing human medical personnel. Dismissed. Reason given: stop complaining and do your jobs." The documents kept scrolling. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. All ignored. Kryn stood up, his face pale beneath his scales. "The Crimson Plague," he said suddenly. "My homeworld. The outbreak started 2 days ago." Velther turned to him. "Your medical facilities can handle it." "No," Kryn said. "The cure. the synthesis process. Only the human doctors knew the exact formula. We relied on them completely. His voice cracked. 60,000 dead already. We cannot stop it. The council chamber fell silent. A small chirping species representative spoke up nervously. The trade routes. 70% of our shipping contracts were negotiated by human mediators. Everyone trusted them to be fair. Without them, 3 species have already refused to honor agreements. Another voice joined in. The terraform bacteria on our agricultural worlds. Humans monitored and adjusted them. We do not know how. The peace treaty between our species and the Vryn, a human mediator, maintained it. We received notice this morning that the Vryn consider the treaty void. One by one, the council members began to speak. Each one revealed another system that humans had maintained. Another service that humans had provided. Another critical function that everyone had assumed just happened automatically. Tay-min. Watch them all realize the truth at the same time. Humans had not been primitive helpers. They had been the foundation that held everything together. We need to bring them back, Balther said. We will send delegations. We will offer them anything they want. You cannot, Temin said. You do not know where they went. Every human ship is gone. Every human database is wiped. They left no trail. He pulled up one final image. It was from Earth, from the plaza in front of the old United Nations building. A new monument stood there, made of simple stone. Words were carved into it in every language spoken in the galaxy. We came in peace. We offered our hands. We gave our knowledge. We bled for your causes. We died for your mistakes. We asked only for respect. You gave us commands. We asked for partnership. You gave us orders. We asked to be seen. You looked through us. So we leave. Not in anger. In dignity. Farewell to those who never said hello. Valther stared at the monument for a long time. Then he looked around the chamber at all the species who had taken humanity for granted. What have we done? He whispered. Outside the council building, the first riots were beginning. Supply chains were breaking down. Medical facilities were overflowing. Peace treaties were dissolving. And somewhere in the galaxy, or perhaps beyond it, humanity was gone. They had not asked for permission. They had not given warning. They had simply recognized their own worth and removed themselves from those who could not see it. The age of human service had ended. The age of galactic regret had just begun. 2 weeks had passed since the humans disappeared. G1 floated in the zero-gravity section of Station Harmony, staring at a control panel that made no sense to her. She was a trained engineer, top of her class, certified in 17 different mechanical systems. But this panel might as well have been written in a dead language. Computer, show me the maintenance logs for the water recycling system, she said. The computer beeped. Access denied. Human authorization required. G1 wanted to scream. This was the 5th critical system that needed a human access code. She had tried everything. Override commands. Emergency protocols. Nothing worked. She pulled up the station roster from a month ago. 43 humans had worked on this station. Out of 2,000 inhabitants, it seemed like a small number. But those 43 humans had apparently been maintaining 70% of the critical systems. A message came through her communicator. G1, we need you in the agriculture bay. The growth lamps are failing. She pushed off toward the agriculture section, her mind racing. The growth lamps had never failed before. They were supposed to be automatic, self-regulating. When she arrived, she found Manager Wu Jin standing among rows of dying plants. The purple-skinned administrator looked sick. I found the problem, Wu Jin said, pulling up a data screen. The lamps are automatic, but the nutrient mix in the water is not. A human named David adjusted it manually every single day for the past 8 years. Why would he do that manually? G1 asked. We have automation for that. I checked the automation logs, Wu Jin replied. The automation was installed 20 years ago. It failed after 6 months. The humans never told anyone. They just started doing it by hand. He gestured at the plants. If we do not figure out the correct mixture in the next week, 4,000 people on this station will starve. Across the galaxy, similar discoveries were happening on every station, every colony, every ship. Juan sat in his executive office on the corporate world of Nexus Prime. He had built the largest shipping company in 3 sectors. His success had been the envy of every business leader. Now he stared at bankruptcy projections on his screen. His assistant entered nervously. Sir, another 17 contracts have been canceled. Why? Juan demanded. The client species do not trust each other anymore. They say without human mediators, they cannot be sure the deals are fair. Juan remembered something. He pulled up old employee records. He searched for a name. Sarah. No, that was not right. The name had been different. He searched again. There, a human woman named Kay. She had worked for him for 15 years in the mediation department. He found her resignation letter from 2 years ago. He had never actually read it. Why would he? She was just one employee out of thousands. He opened it now. Dear Mr. Juan, I am resigning from my position as chief mediator. For 15 years, I have negotiated deals between species who hate each other. I have found common ground where none existed. I have prevented wars over shipping disputes. I have saved this company billions in conflict resolution. In all that time, you have spoken to me exactly 3 times. Twice to tell me to work faster. Once to deny my request for an assistant. I am not angry. I am simply tired of being invisible. I hope you find someone else to do the work you never knew I was doing. Respectfully, Kay. Juan closed the file. He understood now. Kay had not been just one employee. She had been the reason his entire business model worked. And he had never even learned to pronounce her name correctly. On the other side of the galaxy, a young alien named Sora searched through abandoned human quarters on Earth. She had been raised by human foster parents after her biological family died in a war. Her human mother and father had loved her, taught her, made her feel wanted. Now they were gone too. She had not even gotten to say goodbye. She found her way to their apartment in the old Toronto sector. Everything was still there. Furniture, photos, books, but no people. On the kitchen table, she found an envelope with her name on it. Dearest Sora, if you are reading this, then you know we have left. We wanted to take you with us. We asked the Consensus Council. They said no. They said you are not human by blood, so you cannot come to the new home. It broke our hearts. We are so sorry. We left you something. In the basement of the old council building, there is a database. It is every complaint, every ignored suggestion, every dismissed warning that humans filed over the centuries. We want you to share it. Let people see what they refuse to notice. We love you always. Mom and Dad. Sora cried. Then she dried her eyes and went to find the database. What she found shocked her. The database was massive, organized, detailed. It went back 230 years. Complaint 1. Request for council representation. Denied. Complaint 2. Warning about sector. 7 fuel efficiency. Ignored. Result. Station explosion. 47 dead. Complaint 3. Proposal for shared medical research credit. Rejected. The entries went on and on. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. Sora began to read through them randomly. Each one told a story of humans trying to help, being dismissed, and then quietly fixing the problem anyway without recognition. Entry 45,672. Human engineering team worked for 6 months to repair the Kryn defense satellite. Upon completion, credit was given to Kryn military. Human team not mentioned in reports. Request for acknowledgement filed. Denied. Entry 89,234. Human medical staff worked 36 hours straight to save Council member Velther from radiation poisoning. Upon recovery, Velther thanked the medical facility, but not the specific humans who saved his life. Humans are becoming concerned about being treated as equipment rather than people. Sora downloaded the entire database. She would make sure everyone saw it. Back on Station Harmony, G1 finally managed to access one of the human maintenance logs. What she found there made her sit down in shock. The log belonged to a human engineer named Mike. Every day for 6 years. He had written brief notes about his work. Day 1847. Fixed the air recycler again. Same problem as always. Told station manager Wu Jin that we need to replace it. He said it was too expensive. I will keep fixing it manually. Day 2003. The gravity generator in Section 7 is running at 80% efficiency. If it fails, 40 people could be injured. Filed an urgent report. Report marked as low priority. I will monitor it personally every day. Day 2156. Stayed up all night to prevent a coolant leak in the reactor. If I had not been there, the station would have been evacuated. No one noticed. I am tired. The log entries continued for 6 years. Thousands of small disasters prevented. Hundreds of lives saved. All invisible. All unnoticed. G-1 realized something terrible. The humans had not just been doing their jobs. They had been holding together a civilization that did not even know it was broken. And now they were gone. Emergency signals began flashing across her communicator. The gravity generator in Section 7 had finally failed. 40 people were injured. Mike was not there to fix it anymore. Nobody knew how. Captain Hyan stood on the bridge of the search vessel Horizon as it entered Earth's orbit. Behind her ship, 17 other vessels from different species formed a search fleet. They all had the same mission: find the humans and bring them back. Sir, scanning the surface now, her navigator reported. All major cities are intact, power grids still functioning, but no life signs. Hyan had expected this. Every single human colony they had checked showed the same pattern. Empty, but undamaged. Like everyone had simply walked away in the middle of their daily lives. Take us down to Seoul, she ordered. I want to see it myself. The ship descended through the atmosphere. Below them, the city of Seoul stretched out, beautiful and dead. Buildings stood tall. Vehicles were parked neatly on streets. Parks were green and maintained. But there were no people. They landed in the city center. Hyan led a team out onto the street. The silence was overwhelming. No traffic sounds. No voices. No music from cafes or laughter from children. Just wind whistling between buildings. Captain, you need to see this, called out Day, the team archaeologist. He stood in front of a large plaza. In the center was a monument that had not been there before. It was made of simple gray stone, about 3 meters tall. Words were carved into every surface in hundreds of languages. Hyan read the version in her own language. We came. We helped. We built. We healed. We made peace. We asked only to be seen. You looked through us. We asked only to be heard. You spoke over us. We asked only to be valued. You measured our worth in what we could do for you. So we choose to leave, not in hatred, not in revenge, in simple dignity. We go to build something new, something where our children will be partners, not servants. Farewell to those who never said hello. Below the message was a date. The day the humans had left. Hyan felt something heavy settle in her chest. She had served with human officers before. Good people, smart people. She had always thought of them as equals. But had she really? She tried to remember the last time she had asked a human colleague about their family, their hopes, their feelings about anything not related to work. She could not remember a single instance. "Captain, we found something else," another team member called. They followed him to what looked like a government building. Inside, a single computer terminal was still running. On the screen was a message, "For those who come looking." Hyan activated the terminal. A menu appeared with hundreds of files. She opened one at random. It was a detailed plan. Schematics for a type of faster-than-light drive that she had never seen before. "This technology," her science officer whispered. "It is decades ahead of anything we have, maybe centuries." Hyan opened another file. It was a medical database with cures for 17 diseases that current galactic medicine could not treat. Another file showed agricultural techniques that could double crop yields on any terraformed world. Another contained diplomatic strategies that could resolve conflicts that had lasted for generations. File after file. Technology after technology. Solution after solution. "They had all of this," Hyan said slowly. "All along. They were not less advanced than us. They were more advanced, far more advanced." They was scrolling through historical files now. "Captain, look at this. Human Consensus Council records. They show planning for the Exodus started 50 years ago." 50 years? Hyan could not believe it. They planned this for 50 years? Yes, they built the new FTL drives in secret. They constructed hidden shipyards in deep space. They prepared a new destination outside the known galaxy, all while continuing to serve the galactic community. Day shook his head. This was not an emotional decision. This was a calculated, organized, long-term plan. Another team member, young Me, who specialized in psychology, was reading through interview transcripts. Humans had been interviewed regularly about their integration into galactic society. The questions were always the same. Are you happy? Do you feel valued? Do you want to continue serving? Young Me read the answers aloud. They followed a pattern over the decades. Year 2187. Yes, we are happy to help. We hope to earn our place among you. Year 2245. We work hard. We wish for more recognition. But we understand we are new. Year 2298. We have done everything asked of us. We have proven ourselves. Why are we still treated as juniors? Year 2340. We save your lives. We fix your mistakes. We keep your peace, and you do not even see us. But we will keep trying. Year 2389. We are tired. Our children ask why they must always be the helpers. We have no answer. Year 2421. We have decided. Dignity matters more than being needed. We will leave. Young Me looked up from the screen. They gave us 80 years to change. We never did. Hyan walked back outside to the monument. She placed her hand on the cold stone. Somewhere, somehow, the humans were gone. They had technology that could take them anywhere. They could hide anywhere in the universe, and they had chosen to hide from the galaxy they once served. A transmission came through from the other search ships. They had found similar monuments on Mars, on Europa, on every colony world, all with the same message. The fleet's admiral called a meeting. Representatives from all the ships gathered via hologram. We cannot find them, Admiral Kwan reported. They left no trail. Their new FTL technology leaves no signature. We have no way to track them. But we must try, insisted a council representative. We need them. The galaxy is falling apart. They know that, Hyan said quietly. They left us all this information. She gestured to the terminal. Instructions for everything they used to do. Medical procedures, engineering solutions, diplomatic frameworks. They did not leave us helpless. Then why does it feel like we are? Asked another captain. Young-me answered. Because we relied on them doing it for us. We never learned. We never tried. We just assumed humans would always be there to fix things. She pulled up another file. Look at this. A message from the Human Consensus Council. It was sent to Galactic Council headquarters 3 days before they left. It was marked urgent. The message appeared on all their screens. To the Galactic Council, this is our final communication. We have served for 234 years. We have lost count of how many times we have asked for partnership instead of servitude. How many times we have requested acknowledgement instead of orders. You have a choice now. Learn to value those who help you, or learn to live without them. We choose the second option for ourselves. We hope you choose the first for whoever comes after us. Signed, the Human Consensus Council. It was flagged as low priority, Young-me said. No one read it until after the humans were gone. Hyan looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, humanity had found a new home. A place where their children would not grow up feeling invisible. A place where their worth was recognized. She hoped they were happy, but she also knew that the galaxy they left behind would never forgive itself for failing to see what it had until it was gone. The search would continue. Ships would keep looking. Messages would be sent into deep space, begging humans to return. But Hyan suspected those messages would go unanswered. Humans had not left because they were angry. They had left because they had finally understood their own value. And once someone realizes they deserve better, they rarely accept less again. 3 months had passed since humanity disappeared. Director Baora stood in the emergency medical center on the hospital world of Sanctuary Prime, watching patients die. She was supposed to be one of the best medical administrators in the galaxy. But now she felt completely helpless. How many today? She asked her assistant. 47 dead. 218 critical. The genetic rejection syndrome is spreading faster than we can track it. Baora pulled up the medical files. The syndrome had started small. A few cases here and there of patients rejecting standard treatments. Then it spread. Now it was happening across 17 different species on 40 different worlds. She knew what the problem was. She had known for weeks. But knowing did not help. Pull up the human medical staff logs from last year, she ordered. The logs appeared on her screen. Thousands of entries from human doctors and nurses. She read through them randomly. Patient 47B, species Talgrim, treated for respiratory infection. Standard treatment failed. Adjusted medication using genetic profile variant B7. Patient recovered. Patient 89K, species Vrin, treated for cardiac event. Standard procedure showed 40% survival rate. Modified technique using human surgical method. Patient survived. Entry after entry showed the same pattern. Standard galactic medicine worked most of the time. But when it did not work, human medical staff had made tiny adjustments. Personal touches. Individual considerations based on genetic variations that the automated systems missed. No one had noticed because the humans never made a big deal about it. They just quietly saved lives. Ra found a personal log from a human doctor named Lisa. The entries were brief. Personal thoughts not meant for official records. Treated 47 patients today. Saved 3 lives that standard protocols would have lost. None of the senior staff noticed. They think the automated systems did it. I am too tired to correct them. Working 18-hour days. The genetic diversity in this galaxy is amazing. Every species has hundreds of variants. The medical AI cannot track them all, but humans can notice patterns. We see the small differences. I wish someone would ask us how we do it. Another doctor asked me why I stay. Why I work so hard for people who do not even learn my name. I told him it is because patients deserve the best care, whether they appreciate it or not. But honestly, I'm not sure how much longer I can keep believing that. The log ended 2 years before the humans left. Lisa had quit, gone to work on a human colony. Instead, Ra wondered if Lisa was alive somewhere in the new human civilization. She hoped so. On the agricultural world of Greenhaven, Administrator Minsu walked through fields of dying crops. This world fed 40 billion people across 12 systems. Now the soil was turning gray and lifeless. He had called in every agricultural expert in the sector. None of them could figure out what was wrong. Finally, he accessed the human agricultural logs. What he found made him sit down in the middle of the dying field. The soil on Greenhaven had always been unstable. The terraform bacteria that kept it fertile were incredibly delicate. Temperature changes, pH shifts, even slight variations in rainfall could kill them. For 30 years, a team of human agricultural specialists had been manually adjusting the bacterial balance. Every single day, they monitored thousands of microclimates across the planet. They adjusted bacterial strains. They prevented die-offs before they started. The automated systems were supposed to do this, but the automation had failed 15 years ago. The humans had simply started doing it manually. They never told anyone. They just did the work. Minsu found a report that a human specialist named Robert had filed 8 years ago. It warned that if the manual monitoring ever stopped, the entire planetary ecosystem would collapse. Within 90 days, the report had been marked as alarmist and filed away. It had been 93 days since the humans left. Minsu pulled up Robert's personal logs. Day 4382. Prevented. Another bacterial die-off in Sector 7. The automated system completely missed it. If I had not been checking manually, 40,000 hectares of crops would have failed. Submitted another request for system repair. Request denied due to budget constraints. Day 5201. Trained the new staff on manual monitoring procedures. They asked why we do not just fix the automation. I explained that we have been asking for that for 10 years. They seemed surprised that anyone would expect us to do this much work manually. Day 6789. Sometimes I wonder if we are helping or enabling. These systems should be fixed. But if we stop working, people starve. So we keep working. And the systems never get fixed. The last entry was dated 1 week before the humans left. Day 7334. We are leaving soon. I will not be here to save the crops anymore. I hope someone learns to do this work. I hope they understand that caring for life requires more than automation. It requires attention, patience, respect for the small things. I wonder if they will learn that before too many people starve. I hope so. Minsu looked out at the dying fields. Food riots had already started on 3 worlds. Billions faced starvation. Robert had hoped they would learn. But they had not learned fast enough. Across the galaxy, similar crises multiplied. Peace treaties dissolved without human mediators. Trade routes collapsed without human negotiators. Defense systems failed without human maintenance. On the Council world, activist Jae-sung worked day and night on his documentary. He had been advocating for human rights for decades. Now he was documenting everything the galaxy had lost. His documentary, The Invisible Pillars, had become the most watched program in galactic history. Everyone wanted to understand what had gone wrong. Jae-sung showed clip after clip of humans doing essential work. Engineers maintaining systems. Doctors saving lives. Farmers feeding worlds. Mediators preventing wars. All invisible. All unappreciated. He interviewed the few humans who had stayed behind. People like Taemin, who had alien family and could not leave. "Did you know?" Jae-sung asked Taemin. "Did you know they were planning to leave?" "My mother told me 2 years before," Taemin admitted. "She asked me to come. I said no. I thought I belonged here." He looked sad. "She said I would understand one day why they had to leave." She was right. What did she say? Exactly. She said that humans had built a civilization on Earth that valued every person. Then they came to space and joined a civilization that valued them only for what they could do. She said they had tried to change it, tried to earn respect. But after 200 years, they realized the problem was not them. The problem was a system that would always see them as helpers instead of equals. Jae-sung's documentary showed the numbers. In 234 years, humans had filed 127,000 formal complaints. 17 had resulted in changes. That was a success rate of 0.01%. Humans had saved an estimated 4 trillion lives through medical interventions. They had prevented 891 wars. They had maintained 67% of critical infrastructure across the galaxy. And in all that time, only 7 humans had ever been given positions of real authority. 7 out of billions. The documentary ended with a simple question. If you had been treated this way for 200 years, would you have stayed? Meanwhile, Taemin sat in the empty council chambers. He had stayed behind to maintain the one gift the humans had left. A security system. A shield that protected the galaxy from threats beyond known space. The humans had built it in secret over decades. They had powered it with technology the galaxy still did not understand. And they had left it running when they left. But Taemin had found a warning in the system files. The shield required human DNA verification every 6 months, or it would shut down. He had the DNA. He was half human. They could keep it running, but the 6-month deadline was approaching, and the system was showing another warning. Something was coming. Something dangerous. Something the shield had been protecting the galaxy from for years, without anyone knowing. The humans had fought this threat in secret. They had kept the galaxy safe, and no one had ever known. 6 months after humanity's departure, the warning lights on Taemin's console turned from yellow to red. He sat alone in the hidden facility that humans had built beneath the council building. A facility no one else knew existed. The shield was failing. On the main screen, sensor data showed something approaching from beyond the galactic rim. Multiple contacts. Thousands of them. Moving fast. Tae-min pulled up the human defense logs. What he read made his blood run cold. For 70 years, humanity had been fighting a secret war. A species called the Devourers had been probing the galaxy's outer defenses. They consumed other species, harvested them for biological material. They had destroyed 6 civilizations in nearby galaxies. Humanity had detected them early and built the shield. Then human military forces had fought them in deep space, beyond where any galactic sensors could see. Thousands of humans had died in battles that no one else knew about. The logs showed the numbers. Human casualties, 47,000 over 70 years. Enemy ships destroyed, 12,000. Enemy attacks prevented, 891. All secret. All invisible. All done while the rest of the galaxy treated humans like servants. Tae-min found a video log from a human admiral named Commander Hayes. It was dated 5 years before the Exodus. Personal log. Admiral Hayes, we lost another ship today. The Horizon. 300 crew. They died protecting a galaxy that does not even know we are fighting for them. Hayes looked tired. Older than his years. I recommended we tell the council. Let them know what we are dealing with. The consensus council voted no. They said the galaxy would panic. Or worse, they would take over the defense and get everyone killed. So we keep fighting. We keep dying. And no one knows. Sometimes my officers ask me why we bother. Why protect people who do not respect us? I tell them it is because protection is not about getting credit. It is about doing what is right. Hayes paused. But I do not know how much longer I can keep saying that. Our people are tired. We are tired of being invisible. The log ended. Tay-Min understood now. The humans had not just left because they were unappreciated. They had left because they were exhausted. Exhausted from holding together a civilization while fighting a secret war. Exhausted from sacrificing everything while receiving nothing. The alert sirens started blaring. The Devourers had crossed the outer rim. Without the shield, they were coming. Tay-Min activated the emergency broadcast system. His message went to every world in the galaxy simultaneously. This is Tay-Min, speaking from the Council world. We are under attack. An enemy force called the Devourers is approaching. They have been attacking us for 70 years. You did not know because humanity has been fighting them in secret. Now humanity is gone and the defenses are failing. You have 3 days. Prepare. The galaxy erupted in chaos. Velther arrived at the hidden facility within hours. He stared at the defense screens, at the evidence of decades of secret human military operations. They never told us, he whispered. You never asked, Tay-Min replied. You never wondered why human military ships kept disappearing during deep space operations. You never questioned why humans requested certain sectors be restricted. You just assumed they were doing their jobs. You were right, but their jobs included dying for you. The first wave of Devourers hit the outer colonies 2 days later. Worlds that had never seen war were destroyed in hours. The galactic military, unprepared and uncoordinated without human tactical support, fell back in chaos. Billions died in the first week. Velther stood before what remained of the Galactic Council and did something he had never done before. He admitted he was wrong. We failed, he said simply. We failed to see what was in front of us. We failed to value those who served us. We failed to respect humanity. And now we are paying the price. He ordered a galaxy-wide broadcast, an apology, a plea to humanity wherever you are. We are sorry. We should have said that 200 years ago. We should have shown you respect, gratitude, partnership. Instead, we gave you orders. We took your sacrifice for granted. We let you die in secret while we lived in peace you created. We were wrong. The galaxy is falling. We do not ask you to save us. We do not deserve that. We ask only for forgiveness. And we promise, if we survive this, we will build a better galaxy. One where no species is invisible. One where sacrifice is honored. One where helpers are partners. We are sorry. We should have said hello. The message was sent on all frequencies, toward every corner of space, to wherever humanity might be listening. There was no response. The Devourer fleet pushed deeper into the galaxy. Millions died. Whole species faced extinction. Tay-Min worked desperately on the shield controls. The system was designed for human operation, but he was half human. Maybe that was enough. He found one option. A final protocol buried in the system. A weapon. Something the humans had built but never used. It required all the power from the shield. Using it would destroy the shield permanently, but it could destroy the Devourer fleet. There was a note attached to the protocol, written by Commander Hayes. If you are reading this, then we are gone and you are desperate. This weapon will save you, once, but you will need to learn to protect yourselves after this. We cannot do it forever. No one should have to. Use this wisely. Fight your own battles. Respect those who help you. Do better, humanity. Tay-Min initiated the weapon sequence. Energy built in the hidden facility. The shield began to collapse, feeding all its power into the weapon. Across the galaxy, the Devourer fleet suddenly stopped. Then, ship by ship, they began to disintegrate. The weapon was using quantum frequencies that targeted their biological systems specifically. Within hours, the entire invasion force was destroyed. The galaxy was saved, but the shield was gone. There would be no protection now, except what the galactic species could build themselves. Velther found Taemin in the facility afterward. The half-human sat exhausted at the controls. "They saved us," Velther said. "Even after leaving. Even after everything. They still saved us." "One last time," Taemin corrected. The message said this was the only time. "From now on, you protect yourselves. Will they ever come back?" Velther asked. "I do not know," Taemin said. "But I know they are watching." The message said to do better. They will be checking. The galaxy entered a period of mourning. Not for the dead in the war. For the humans who had died protecting them over the centuries. Humans whose names had never been learned. Whose sacrifices had never been acknowledged. Statues were built on every world. Parks were named after human heroes. Holidays were created to honor human service, but there was still no response from humanity. Messages continued to be sent. Apologies. Promises to change. Pleas to return. Nothing came back. Years passed. The galaxy slowly rebuilt. They built their own defenses. They learned to do the work humans had done. It was harder than they expected. They failed often. But they learned. They built new systems based on partnership. Species that had once competed now cooperated. Councils included representatives from all levels, not just the powerful. They did better. 10 years after humanity left, a young woman named Sunwoo sat on a beautiful planet far beyond the old galaxy. She had been born here in the new human civilization. She had never known the old worlds. Her grandmother, an old woman named Sora, who had been adopted by humans in the old galaxy, told her stories sometimes. Will we ever go back? Sunwoo asked SOR, looked at the stars. She was old now. She had watched humanity build a new society, one based on mutual respect, on equal partnership, on visible appreciation for everyone's contribution. Maybe, Sora said, your grandmother's grandmother told me that humans do not hold grudges. They just learn boundaries. They learned that they deserved respect. So they found a place where they received it. But the galaxy apologized, Sungwoo said. They changed. Change that comes from desperation is not real change, Sora replied. They need to change because they believe it is right, not because they need something from us. How will we know when that happens? Time, Sora said. Maybe in your lifetime. Maybe in your children's lifetime. When they have built a galaxy that values everyone, not just when they need saving. Then maybe we go back. As partners. As equals. Far away, at the edge of the old galaxy's border, a message buoy floated in space. It had been there for 10 years. It would stay there for centuries more. The message was simple. To humanity, we are sorry. We finally understand. We are better now. We learned. Please come home. Your place is waiting. As partners. As equals. As friends. Please come home. The buoy transmitted constantly. The message echoed into the void. Year after year, waiting for an answer. But the stars kept their silence. And somewhere, beyond the rim of the known galaxy, humanity lived free. Their children grew up valued. Their contributions were seen. Their voices were heard. They remembered the old galaxy. They hoped it had truly changed, but they had learned that hope was not enough. They would wait. They would watch. And if the galaxy truly became a place of partners rather than servants, of respect rather than orders, of visibility rather than invisibility. Then maybe one day they would return, but not yet. Not until the galaxy earned them back. The message buoy continued, broadcasting. Still waiting. Still hoping. Still unanswered.